Welcome to the deep dive. We take the research you share, pull out the core insights, and basically make you instantly well informed. Today's mission, and honestly, this might be our most requested deep dive yet, is looking at how to get truly fluent. We're talking about training your brain to skip the translation step and just think directly in English. If you're learning a language, you definitely know that feeling. That horrible pause where you feel stuck, maybe a bit nervous, your brain's scrambling, right? Native language, English, trying to speak. And that delay, that's what kills the flow. So we've dug into the sources on radical self-immersion. These are strategies you can actually use even if you don't have a practice partner. We're hunting for the shortcut, the way to beat that translation freeze.
And that freeze, well, it really is the biggest hurdle for actually using the language day to day. Most learners, they build up these huge banks of words and grammar rules. But it's the speed, the automatic access to that knowledge that really matters for fluency.
Yeah.
If we can train the mind to just bypass the native language, then communication stops feeling like hard work and starts to just flow effortlessly.
Okay, so let's diagnose this. Why does the brain freeze up? Like, you know the word refrigerator, you learned it, but saying the milk's in the fridge, blank, it feels like you just don't know enough. But the research seems to suggest something else is going on.
Yeah, it's rarely about not knowing the word itself. It's more about an inefficient process, an architectural problem, you could say. The core issue, based on the literature, is that your brain's trying to run two different operating systems at the same time. Think of it like a computer, right?
Yeah.
If it's constantly switching between programs, or languages in this case, it slows everything down. There's a cost to switching tasks. We call it translation freeze, but really it's cognitive overload. So our aim today is to figure out how to flip that switch, get your brain running smoothly in English mode so retrieval is, well, instant.
Right, so it's about efficiency, creating a direct path from the thought straight to the English word, no detour through your native language, basically rewiring the brain.
Exactly. We're having to actively building those direct connections, those immediate pathways through consistent practice.
Which brings us to the big challenge, immersion. How do you immerse yourself if you can't just, pack up and move to an English-speaking country? The sources insist it's possible to build that immersion right into your daily life. How? They lay out what we're calling the 3 pillars of self-immersion. Let's tackle pillar 1. And gotta say, this one sounds a little odd at first, talking to yourself. I mean, really, won't people think you're a bit strange? Does it feel weird?
It might feel a bit silly initially, yeah. But the technique is surprisingly effective. The research is clear. Just narrate what you're doing in English. Simple sentences. You're making coffee. Say, I'm making coffee. Or I'm heating the water, walking somewhere. I'm walking to the bus stop. I'm walking quickly. The key thing here is that it trains your brain to see English not just as something you speak, but as the language you actually think in. You're basically hijacking your internal monologue.
Ah, okay. So you're giving that little voice inside your head a new language to work with.
Precisely. And doing that consistently, even just a little bit each day, starts reinforcing those direct English pathways almost right away.
Okay, makes sense. Pillar 2, daily listening. And I like that the research keeps the bar pretty low. Even just 10 minutes a day can make a real difference.
That 10-minute minimum, it comes from this idea of massive input. Consistent listening, even if you don't catch every single word, actually changes how your brain processes sound. You could listen to podcasts, short audio stories, English vlogs on YouTube, anything really. You're training your auditory system to recognize the rhythm, the sounds, the phones of English. When you listen regularly like that, your brain starts to kind of anticipate English patterns automatically. It takes less effort to decode what you're hearing. It's passive learning with, frankly, huge active benefits later on.
And pillar 3 is maybe the most, well, tangible one. Label your world. Sticking notes on things. This feels like classic advice, but let's revisit why it's supposed to work. So for you listening, this means literally getting some sticky notes, writing, chair, window, bottle, charger, whatever, and sticking them on those objects around you.
It's all about creating that direct link. You see the thing, you see the English word, boom, direct association. You skip the step where you see the object, think of the word in your native language, and then translate it. You're forcing a direct connection. Object is English word. What this does, linguistically speaking, is build a mental semantic field directly in English. Objects, actions, they get mapped straight to English vocabulary in your mind.
Okay, so those are the mechanics, the how-to of self-immersion. But we know language learning is also heavily psychological. We have to talk about the mindset, specifically that inner critic. The sources call it the two voices.
Hmm.
That fear of messing up, it can actually feel physical, can't it? Like performance anxiety. You might know the sentence structure, but the anxiety just clamps down. Throat tightens, mind races.
Oh, that physical response is absolutely real. It's your body's stress response, cortisol kicking in because you're afraid of, well, social judgment, embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
That negative voice, the one saying, don't try it, you'll sound stupid, your brain kind of listens and hits the brakes to protect you.
Which leads us nicely to this little story about Leo from the source material. He knew his grammar inside out, but speaking. Terrified. Every time he went to speak, that voice would pop up. Careful, what if you use the wrong tense? Everyone will know you're not fluent. But then Leo had this realization, like, this voice was basically his own jailer, so he decided to push back. He actually said out loud, mistakes help me learn, progress over perfection, and then he just started talking. Everywhere. To cashiers, people on the bus, apparently even his cat, who was probably very confused.
It's a great example because it shows the goal isn't flawlessness right out of the gate. It's about building confidence through action. Leo's English got powerful because he just kept going, accepted the errors. Errors are just feedback, really. Making a mistake means your brain tried that direct pathway and maybe tripped up, but it tried quickly. That's way better than slowly constructing a perfect sentence through translation.
The core message here feels really important. It's a mantra from the research, basically. Confidence comes before fluency. You can't wait until you feel fluent to speak confidently. It doesn't work that way.
Absolutely not. Confidence is what fuels the practice. It lets you take those necessary risks. Fluency is the outcome of all that confident, consistent practice, not something you need beforehand. You have to act as if.
Okay, let's pull this all together, make it super practical. The sources outline a simple but a pretty powerful 5-minute daily routine, a brain rewire routine, and the key is
Consistency. Every single day. Non-negotiable. This routine is designed to push your brain through the key stages. Thinking in English, absorbing it, and then producing it. All very quickly. Think of it as a mental warm-up. Okay, step 1, first minute. Describe your morning. Just simple sentences, past or present. I woke up. I brushed my teeth. I'm drinking tea. This gets that retrieval practice going immediately. Forces your brain to grab simple words and structures fast, switching your internal system over to English.
got it. Step 2 takes 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Listen, find some English audio, but the instruction here is crucial. Don't try to translate. Just listen. Let it wash over you.
Exactly. Resist that urge. It's okay if you don't understand everything. You need to get comfortable with that ambiguity. This is pure input, reinforcing those sound patterns we talked about, without the stress of having to respond, just feeding the machine.
Okay. Then step 3, 1 minute for output. Repeat out loud.
This is shadowing, right?
Yep.
Can you quickly explain shadowing for anyone who hasn't come across it? What exactly are we doing? Shadowing is basically mimicking what you hear almost as the speaker says it or right after. You're not really focusing on the meaning. You're copying the sound, the rhythm, the melody, the stress patterns, the prosody. Getting the flow right is more important than getting every single word perfect.
Yeah.
This trains your mouth, your muscles, for how English actually sounds and feels to speak. It builds that physical muscle memory for fluency.
Right, the physical part of speaking. And the final minute, step 4. Ask yourself one question in English, and it has to be about you.
Yes, make it self-reflective. What do I want to do today? Or how do I feel right now? Or what was interesting about that article? This forces your brain to run a complete internal loop in English. Have the thought, form the question, and then try to formulate an answer, even if it's just in your head. It closes the loop. Input, processing, output, all in English.
And doing this specific 5-minute
Yeah.
every day, that's how you make the shift. From someone learning English to someone who actually uses English naturally, it trains your thoughts to default to English.
To wrap it all up, just remember, learning a language isn't only about collecting facts like vocabulary or grammar rules. It's really about rewiring your brain, building new pathways, more efficient ones. Every little bit counts, that 5-minute routine, the 10 minutes of listening while you commute. It's all constructing that new mental architecture.
This has been super actionable. We went from the why the brain freeze right down to a daily 5-minute fix. So, for you listening, remember, consistency beats perfection every time. And that moment you should really anticipate, the payoff, is when you're mid-conversation, maybe talking quickly, and you suddenly realize you're not translating anymore. You're just thinking in English. That's the switch. That's when you know you've installed English OS. And maybe the really interesting thought to leave you with is, once you are thinking in English, how might the structure of this new language begin to subtly shift how you see the world? Something to ponder. Thank you for sharing your sources and letting us take this deep dive. We hope this helps you flip that switch. Until next time.